So fine guys, let's focus it back again. So what we were seeing is, okay, if we are going to do this integration, Trustly guys are telling us, okay, first of all, in the documentation wise, they say, okay, if two systems want to talk to each other, they are saying your system sends a deposit request to Trustly API. Okay, that actually means ki, like if two systems want to talk to each other, okay, if two systems wants to talk to each other, we do that communication via API. So if e-commerce wants to talk to our payment system, they are going to do this communication via e-commerce. Okay, they will do this communication, e-commerce to us, they will do this via API. Similarly guys, even within the system guys, now this is interesting, even let's say within the system, if payment validation service wants to talk to payment processing service, here also APIs, we communicate via APIs. If processing service wants to talk to Trustly, here also API. Now please understand, service to service communication in the current times, okay, is happening strongly based upon API model. Okay, so just know it. What is API? How to develop API? We'll come to it, but just take it as a conclusion. If two systems want to talk to one another in the current times, the technology they are simply using is simple API. And how does an API look like? Is just simple like this. This is how the endpoint will be. This is how the request structure is going to be, and this is how the response structure is going to be. Okay, what is going to be request structure, what is going to be response structure, we will have a look at that. For example, just see here in the Trustly documentation, what they are saying is you click on this deposit, okay, and then it opens the explanation of deposit. Okay, you can use deposit API to accept payments from customer. Okay, next, just have a look at this request structure. So that means Trustly is saying, okay, whenever the user clicks Trustly with you, you make a API call to us, and in the request, give us this as the request structure. Nothing but this entire stuff which is mentioned here. This is going to be the request structure. Okay, nothing but if you look at put it into this diagram, the request structure is nothing but JSON structure. Just see, it's a JSON object. We will understand, get a deeper meaning of that, but this is how the integration is, and we need to understand and build the system around it. So they say you call this. Now what every field is, they have explained this in below. Okay, what every field means, okay, which fields are mandatory or which fields are not mandatory, optional, then explanations about every of the field, what is going to be the data type for every of the field, so that it is easy for the developer to understand, okay, I need to call this deposit API to Trustly, and in all of these requests, what values should I provide that is going to be available here? What value should I provide? Okay, now you go through all that, and finally in the end they say key response. In response, they are saying we will give you this kind of a response back. Nothing but if you understand in a technology term, you have written some method. You have written some method here, and that method is expecting some request which is JSON, and you will return some value. That value is going to be something like this. The value is going to be something like this. Okay, now this is how it just begins. Okay, we need to, the system sends deposit request. Next it says, once you make the deposit request call to us, step number 3, Trustly responds with a URL which is called as Trustly checkout URL, and it will have some order ID which is Trustly order number. Nothing but they explained, okay, when you call us the deposit, and in response we will give you these two things, order ID and URL. These two things are going to come back in response. Now fine, they just explain that point. Next, what are we supposed to do? Okay, step number 4, your system redirects the customer to Trustly checkout URL where they logging into their bank and authorize the payment. Okay, let's just understand guys, relate it with your e-commerce journey. Okay, let's say you are on Amazon site, you are choosing, I want to do net banking transaction. Yeah, you say, I want to do net banking transaction with HDFC Bank. What do? You click on HDFC. Then immediate behavior is you get redirected to HDFC website. There you enter the HDFC or banking details, and then OTP might come from HDFC. You authorize the payment, and then it says, okay, yes, money is deducted. Then you come back to your Amazon site. This is what is the journey. Trustly is also working the same way. Now we are saying how to code it behind the screen. Okay, whenever the user is clicking on that Trustly button, we make a deposit API call to them. In response, they give us this kind of a URL to us. So backend system ko, we will get, e-commerce system is going to get URL back. So the URL looks something like this. And this URL, we have to redirect the customer there. Nothing but banking experience jaise. Your system redirects the customer to Trustly checkout URL, where they log in into their bank and then authorize the payment. After this is done, the customer will be redirected from their page to the success URL. Nothing but guys, देखो how the journey works. Let's say you're on Amazon website. So initially, you might be on some page called as amazon.com/ let's say cart. Here you are making the payment. Here you click your HDFC Bank option. Then you get redirected. Browser journey. Your browser will get redirected to hdfc.com. Okay. Your browser will get redirected to hdfc.com/ something like this, maybe checkout or something. Once you do that, once the payment is successful, you come back to your Amazon, right? You don't stay with those people. You come back, maybe cart/success or something. That's how the end-to-end journey is. So this is how these guys are also explaining. Okay, once the payment is done, okay, your system redirects to the checkout page where they perform that payment. And after that, customer will be redirected from Trustly page, nothing but from this bank page, to the success URL specified in the deposit API call. Nothing but we need to tell Trustly, okay, once the payment is successful, give me back to this page. Where do we specify? They are saying in the deposit request, deposit API call, there is a parameter called a success URL. Can we check whether this parameter is there? Okay, I'm just doing a save. Just see, this is what it is. In the deposit, okay, in the deposit request, they are expecting us to provide success URL and failure URL, where we have to say, so we need to get it from our e-commerce team. If success happens, then where should our customer go? If failure happens, where should our customer go? This is our simple journey. So in the deposit request, we tell all this to him. They provide us a URL back. We redirect the customer back to that. And once the payment is done, they are going to give the customer back to us. That's simple journey. How to do it is with simple API call. One API call, get the URL, redirect the customer. This is what is the journey. Let me put a quick poll here. Okay. From 0 to 5, how much did you understand this flow? Okay. From, let's say, 1 to 5. 5 is like everything. 5 is highest. Okay. 1 is lowest. From 1 to 5, what is your understanding? Just comment there. Okay. What is your understanding? Okay. Let's just say 5, 4. We can add more options. Nice. 3. Okay. 2. Okay. At least we have 2. So chalo, 1 to nahi hai. So nobody has the option of choosing 1. Okay. Guys, put your understanding there. Simple hai. 4 flow to hai, guys. Right? You call deposit. Let's see. Now. Okay, take a minute, guys, to do this. 790 people so far have voted out of 300. Simple understanding, guys. Don't complicate things. Life is pretty simple. You make a deposit call, they give you a URL, redirect it. How to do it technically, later story. But first, as a developer, we need to understand functionally what are we supposed to do. Okay. Now, guys, just take for example, the same topic. different people, out of 164 members, we see 4-star is for 53% and 5-star is for 28% members. That means 50, 70, right? 70, around 80 members are able to get it pretty nicely. Okay. That means like all the members who are 3 and below, it means somehow logical thinking wise, you have to really grow and understand. Because in interview, they will just give you this scenario and say, okay, now develop it. So we need to first understand the problem statement so that we can really give the solution. Okay, so we are able to see 80% ko aa gaya, which is pretty good. How to develop it, that's where we are here. But rest of the members also start working more on these areas. Okay, but fine, chalo, we are able to see at least yes, 50 plus 30, okay, 80 plus percentage members are able to get the full grasp of this. Okay, now let's move to this another one, Stripe integration. Because if we really look at both of them together, our understanding would become really solid. And you will realize that dono bhi same hi baat kar rahe. Okay, let's understand this. So from our development perspective, it becomes really easy. Let me go to Stripe integration. Okay, first of all, don't get too much lost. Okay, what these things are. I'll do this thing to you guys. Okay, I'm pasting this URL right now in chat. Okay, this is e-commerce and this is this. Today you spend some time in walking through these URLs. Spend some time in figuring out okay, what exactly these things are. But now let's understand the second part, guys. Good to see 80% got the clarity. Now, if you get this, you will even understand Stripe pretty easily. Okay, look how it works, guys. So focus here. How checkout works. All that is theory. That is fine. Let's talk about Kaam Ki Baat. We want to do one-time payment. Okay, and they are saying the process is checkout. Just terminology difference. Trustly was calling it as deposit. Stripe is calling it as checkout. Terminology. Both are one and the same. Now how they explain? Simple, guys. 4 steps. First, guys, listen this carefully. When customers are ready to complete their purchase, your application creates a new checkout session. Okay, something. Our application creates a new checkout session. Next, the checkout session provides a URL that redirects customer to Stripe hosted payment page. That's थोड़े new terminologies are. Same thing, but written in a different manner. Okay. Now what they are saying is, previously for Trustly also we said, okay, redirect. Okay, once make a deposit call, a URL will come to you. In Stripe terminology, what they are saying, okay, your app, instead of deposit call, they are saying your application e-commerce needs to create a new checkout session. How to create it, we will see, but that is going to be via some API call itself. We need to study it more deeply, okay, how to write that API, how to code that API. But yes, this thing, checkout session create karo, that will happen via API call. Now, what second step is saying? The session which we create, checkout session, in response, it will provide you with a URL. Trustly is also giving us URL. This guy is also giving us URL. Same process. Next, provides a URL that redirects customer to the page, right? So here also Trustly gave us a URL and now they are asking, can I redirect the customer to that URL? Okay. Now same thing this guy is saying. The only term is, it is calling it as hosted payment page. So for payment system, domain knowledge perspective, be aware of this. Okay. The URL where the customer would be redirected for completing the payment is called as hosted payment page. The name is, even Trustly wale ko bhi hosted, we will say. We are also hosted. The terminology is hosted payment because we are not developing that page. It works for us, but it is hosted on them, right? Trustly people, Stripe people, it is their page. So it is called as hosted payment page. So it is payment for us, but hosted at their side. They are simply called as hosted payment page. So this is what they are saying, ki bhai, once you redirect it, you will provide a URL and that redirects the customer to the Stripe hosted payment page. So where the customer is going to be redirected. Some terminology different, but way is the same. Next, customer enters the payment details on the payment page and complete the transaction. If you really see, this is exactly same like what Trustly is doing. You call deposit, you get a URL, you redirect the customer to that URL. The customer is going to log into their bank, authorize the payment. After that, it comes back to the success URL. Here, if you see the same thing, this guy is saying, okay, customer is ready to make payment. Then we need to make a create like checkout session. We have to create via making the API. In response to that, they will give us a URL. That URL we have to redirect. There he goes. Next, customer enters the payment details and completes the transaction. Somehow, Trustly has explained this process in more details. This guy has summarized it into simple. What is this webhook? We will see. If you understand the word Trustly, maybe कुछ तो यहाँ पे notifications की बात हो रही है. We will understand that. But at the same time, this guy is also saying there is a fourth number step. So after our current understanding is done, we need to understand this last box. We will understand, but that is a later story. But so far where we are as part of this, guys, if you're clear so far, just give a few thumbs up, give a few hearts, 100%, whatever. Okay. So both are identical. Both are identical. Now that's really good. So it will become easy for us to understand and easy for us to develop a central system which works for both the cases. If both are different, we would have to take care of it separately. Okay. Nice. Nice. Okay. And now I'm just quickly enabling chat from 1 to 5. This understanding, Abhi, second time. Just put it back again. Just put your number from 1 to 5. How much is your understanding? Okay. Just put it into comment, guys. From 1 to 5, how much is your understanding? Just put that number there. Okay. From 1 to 5, how much is your understanding? Or 1000%. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. From 1 to 5. Just put the number in 1 to 5. Okay. Rushi is 5. Samir is 4. Simple, guys. Don't complicate it. IT is simple, but you need to read documentation, understand documentation, and then think, how do you convert it? Okay, 5 fours. There are many people with 5 fours. Complete, understood. Very good. अभी आगे और इसको simplify करते हैं. Okay, nice, nice. There are, I think, majority is with 5s and 4s. Nice, nice. Okay. देखो guys, even if you are getting a 3 right now, no problem. Watch the session again. Read the documentation again. Gradually, it will get pretty much better. Okay, chalo, pretty nice. Let's move to the next thing. Okay, chalo, thanks. Thanks, guys, for your inputs. It means that you're on the right track. You're focused, you're listening. Okay, next. Okay, I guess for some of the member, chalo, let's put it here. Now, let's have a look quickly, team. They have provided us Stripe, guys. They have done this thing beautiful. Okay, they explain theoretically less, but they have given a diagram. Thoda sa, let's understand this diagram. Okay, thoda, let's understand this diagram. I will just expand this. Guys, understand these things. Dekho, in documentation, even as a developer, entry level, intern, fresher, you would need to go through this, understand this. Yes, there will be some team members like I am there, your team member, trying to explain you these things. Some of your seniors will also guide, but you have to read and understand. That is what is experience. Nobody is expected to come and tell you, spoon feed you everything. You need to grow that knowledge. Okay. Now, how exactly that happens? Just see multiple terms. There is client. Okay. There is server, there is Stripe API. Again, the terminology is API. And then there is Stripe checkout. Okay. Now, what is the flow? Just try to understand. End customer, client, sends order information. Nothing but related with this diagram. In the e-commerce, somehow the order information is going to happen. That is going to tell to the payment system. So this is entire server. All this we call it as server. The UI is somehow talking to the backend server, and that server gets, okay, this guy wants to make the payment of so and so. So client sends that information to the server. Now, once the server receives it, we are supposed to make a API call to Stripe, and which is nothing but create checkout session API. Simple. Okay. Create checkout session API. So when you relate this theoretical understanding with this flow, you will get better clarity. Acha, API call karne hi bol raha hai, not something else. So create session. Next, what they are saying is, okay, in return, Stripe is going to give us back return checkout session. Something response is going to come back. After that, it is saying, okay, we should redirect customer to URL from the checkout session. Nothing but this already tells us, okay, checkout session is going to give us that will have a URL. Next, it is saying, okay, you guys should redirect the customer to that URL. Now, dekho, as soon as we redirect, the customer is now sitting on the Stripe checkout page. It is not in our territory. We have not developed it. So this is what is the flow. It is in the Stripe territory. And then customer completes the payment there. This is what they are explaining. Okay, here, customer completes the payment on the Stripe checkout side. Okay, customer completes the payment. Now, once this payment is completed, next, what they are saying, customer returns to your application back on the UI. So, Trustly explained this process very step by step. Every line was very clear. These guys return some high level understanding, but with this sequence diagram, we get a full clarity. Okay, this is what it is. Our UI is supposed to give us the data to us. We should make an API call to them. They will give some response back to us. In the response, they will give a URL, and then we are supposed to redirect the customer to that URL where they go directly to the checkout. Then they log in there, make the payment, and then finally comes back to us. Okay? So basically, both are one and the same. Okay? Now, if you really want to put, generally what we have done is when we get these integrations, we as developers, you guys, technical team, you would have to understand this and maybe come up with some diagrams of your own. Okay, maybe you would have to come up with your own diagrams, okay, so that you can have a clear-cut understanding. Maybe because they go, Trustly has not given any diagram. Next, these guys have provided this kind of a diagram, but for ease of understanding within the team, sometimes you will also create diagrams. It could be anywhere. Okay, one of a popular place where people uses, they just open draw.io, and in draw.io they can create n number of diagrams. Many times in companies, they will just create a free account in draw.io, there put up the diagrams, which is easy for explaining. Okay, now something like that, we created some diagram and is available in this kind of a flow. Same thing. Okay, but yeah, it is our way of looking at things. Let's just summarize this flow compared to what we discussed there. Okay, first, understand this. Checkout page. This is the client browser. This is, let's say, our system. Okay, now we need to understand client side. First of all, Trustly or Stripe option is going to be visible. Next, as soon as that happens, somehow the client talks to our backend system. Okay, next, step number 1 is client talks to our backend system. Step number 2, we call payment service provider, PSP, beat Trustly, beat Stripe. In case of Trustly, we make deposit API call. In case of Stripe, we make create session API call. Provider to provider, terminology might change, request structure might change, response structure might change. Accordingly, we need to code. So we call this. Next, return payment token. Some terminology, they are returning something back to us. Okay, and using this token, what is after step number 3, whatever data we got, we are saving it into the database. So if there is create session, we save it into our database, and then this thing we redirect the customer. Just see here. Okay, step number 5, display PSP payment page. Nothing but hosted page. We already saw this terminology, Stripe hosted page. So either it is Trustly page or Stripe page, same flow. Once the customer is there, he makes the payment, and we are giving redirection URL success as well as failure in the request call where we make to PSP. So this page is also of PSP. So PSP understands, oh, for this request, earlier we already told them what is success URL and failure URL. So once the payment is completed, the customer will be gone to the success URL or failure URL. As simple as that. Now, once this entire journey is done, देखो point number 5 हो गया. Next, they try to do the payment. 6 and 7, they work directly with the PSP system because it is not our page. They don't call us for actually making the payment. We redirect them. 5 हो गया. Then they work directly with the PSP. 6 and 7. Once the work is done, PSP is going to redirect. Step number 8 is going to redirect to payment completion page. That is how step number 1 to step number 8 will be organized. Same thing. From multiple angles, we understood how Trustly, Stripe, their flow diagrams and our flow diagrams put everything together. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, I guess, guys, hopefully you guys are clear with it so far. Yeah, already there were 5s and 4s. Now I'm very confident by the end of this wala flow, majority will convert it into like 4s and 5s, even if you belong into 3 and 2, because yes, your knowledge now will be better. Okay, fine. Chalo, now next thing, one area we have left out, webhooks or notifications. Thoda sa let's understand that part in details. Okay, now guys, let's come back here. Okay, yes, already 100% are coming up. Now let's have a look here, guys. You went for making the payment. And now the thing here is, they are going to send some notifications, and accordingly we are supposed to make the payment. Now please understand, guys, let's go back to our diagram for a moment. Okay, and in our diagram here, it is saying this thing. Dekho. Finally, the customer is going to this page. He makes the payment there. Whether, guys, understand this carefully, whether the payment has happened successfully or not, PSP system only knows it. We don't know it at our side. Simple. They went there. They are trying to make the payment. They don't even talk to us while they are making payment. They talk only to this PSP. The PSP system knows whether the payment is successful or failure. Somehow, PSP should tell us that it is successful or failed. As simple as that. Now comes the point. Okay, how will PSP tell us? There are two ways. One way is success and failure browser redirection is happening. So maybe we can write some code here. Okay, if the user comes, let's say our success URL is like this and our failure URL is like this. This is one way. This is browser redirection. Okay, this is browser redirection. One way is, now think like a technical developer, you might be like, "Arey, browser redirection anyways ho raha hai na." So we will just understand from here, okay, if the user is finally redirected back to success page, we will assume payment is success. If it comes back to failure page, we will assume payment is failed. Right? One way of interpreting. But thoda sa just try to understand here. We are staying in an internet world, okay, where there are a lot of manipulative people. They might try to hack the systems. For example, let's say somebody goes to Amazon, adds item to the cart, and it is 10,000 INR. He goes to that banking page, okay, and the payment failed. Okay, what he does, as soon as the payment is failed, he turns off his internet so that he cannot come back to the source failure page. Rather, what he does it, he somehow, okay, replaces that failed URL with the success URL, puts the internet back again, and then tries to make a refresh. क्या होगा? Internet है, customer के घर पे browser है. He can do such kind of hacks. Wherever he's going to be finally redirected, he will maybe try to manipulate the URL and convert failure into success. Now, some of you might be like, but how will he know the success URL? Arey, uska bhi solution hai. You are creative. You can think a hack. You will make a payment actually of, let's say, 1 rupee. 1 rupee ka kuch kharid longe Amazon mein. 10 rupee ka kharid longe. 100 rupee ka kharid lo. With that, you know what is going to be the success URL. Maybe you can take the reference of that URL, keep it with you, try a purchase of 50,000, and in that actually make a failure via invalid card or whatever, and there you replace it with a success URL. And now now what is going to happen? PSP knows the payment has failed. They know 50,000 ka transaction did not pass, it is failed, and they were redirecting it to the failure URL. But the customer was a bit crooked. He wanted to hack it. He changed it with a success URL. But now, as an e-commerce team developer, you guys have made a mistake. You relied on browser redirection to handle whether it is success or failure. If you rely on this, it's a blunder because he has hacked it. Now, PSP will know 50,000 failed, but your system will assume, okay, oh, the payment was successful. You will give him that mobile of 50,000. Right? That's a problem. That's a problem. We cannot build a system like this. So we cannot rely on browser redirections for writing our business logic because it can be manipulated. Okay? Fine, guys. Is it making sense? Is it clear? Give a few hearts, give a few 100%. Simple, eh? Understand there is a need. We cannot rely on browser redirection because a lot of things might happen in browser, right? Meanwhile, you can have some water as well. I'm waiting for 10 seconds for YouTube to sync up. Nice. Understand. Front-end browser redirection pe we cannot rely. Okay. Okay. Very good, team. Now, let's move forward. Let's move forward to the next piece. Nice. Abhi, if browser redirection is not the way, we need to have some trustworthy way of doing it. And okay, if browser redirection is not the trustworthy, not the right way, then we have to have a trustworthy way. And that trustworthy way is server to server API call. That's it. This server to server API call, people call this as terminology here called as notification or webhook. Notification or webhook, where Trustly system or Stripe system, they will make a server to server call to us where they will tell us whether the payment has happened successfully or whether the payment has failed. As simple as that. The way we made a API call to them. Let's go back to this diagram. Okay, just look at this flow now. It's just here. The way we made a API call to them, we called their API create session and they responded. Just see in the end what is happening. This thing, Stripe server is making us API call to our server. That is the last step of this process. Just understand. That's the last step of this process. Don't rely on browser redirection. Even though the browser redirects, you use it only for displaying a message. Okay, we are checking your payment. Give us 15 minutes time so that we can update you the final status. In Amazon, you see that, right? After 15 minutes, you finally know what has happened to your payment because they are trying to do it asynchronously. So this is what it is. Once everything is done, then Stripe is going to make API calls to the backend server to us, and then we will see, okay, if Stripe is not telling us payment has failed, that means payment has failed. We should not give him the product. If the Stripe says success, then it is success. Now we have to give him the product. This is how it is API, and that is where now we can understand the last statement. After the transaction, a webhook fulfills the order using some kind of event. We will get into technical details, but they are saying, okay, we are going to give you a webhook. So that's a terminology you need to understand. Okay, webhook is the final status. They will inform us via something called as webhook. Okay. Similarly, this guy is also saying, depending upon the outcome, let's say the customer has made the payment, whether it is successful or not, depending upon the outcome, Trustly may send these notifications. And now they are saying notifications. Now there are different types of notifications. Okay, the customer went to the bank. Let's say you are doing a payment online. You went to HDFC Bank. You gave invalid OTP, and maybe you passed invalid OTP 3 times or whatever, or you went there and you just click the close button. You might do a number of things on that page. Somehow, the e-commerce system should know all those details of what the customer is doing on that page. So Trustly is saying we will give you that complete clarity, okay, what the customer did on our page. So they are saying if payment process is aborted, nothing but you went there, you did not complete, you aborted, saying okay, close, I don't want to do the transaction, then Trustly is going to give us a cancel notification. Okay, let's just try to look what is this cancel notification looks like. From developer world, the background screen, it's again an API with a JSON request. They will make us a API call with the JSON request. We will write method at our side where we will receive this. We will understand, oh, payment is cancelled. We should not give the product to this person. This is how cancel notification looks like. Okay. Now let's come back here. Next, if it is pending, then pending. Credit notification. Okay. Okay. When the transaction is confirmed, this is when you should deliver the order. Nothing but if the payment has happened successfully, then credit notification should go. Okay. And accordingly, there is a reason, meaning for all of these. We will understand notification. But as part of today's session, I only want you to understand that we cannot rely on browser-based redirection because it is problematic. So we need backend calls, and which in this payment terminology, in this place, they are saying okay, via webhooks or via notification. Now, different types of notifications are there, different types of webhooks are there. But if we do this, then automatically it is going to work. Okay. So guys, hopefully you understood it. I'm just opening your chat. Okay. Can you, okay, let's take a minute before I really turn on the chat now. Write down in your notepad in one liner, try to write down what did you understand about this entire flow. One liner statement. Uske baad chat open karte, you put that one liner statement in one go. Okay, everybody open up your notepad, write down ek understanding lagao, because that's how you will actually stamp your understanding, right? So put down your understanding there. Okay, what exactly like you understood in one liner, try to explain. We saw 3-4 scenarios right now: notifications, redirections, making the API call, and then handling it from e-commerce to us to them. We discussed a lot of things today. Put it into your one-liner statement here. What is the main thing which you understood out of all of these things? In notepad first, write it. Then I will enable the chat. Just put it here and then we will check it through. Let me do it right now because there is already a 10-second lag. As soon as you're ready, you can put it here. Think. Akshay, se put your understanding. API call and notifications. Harish says that. Okay. Put it into one line so we can even have some reading about it. Are everything nahi? What that everything is, put it into one word. Okay. We will specify the company details and all that later, guys. Okay. Join, focus on the first week. I understood how we can manage notification for failure and success, also API calling. Okay. Communicate across multiple services through API calls as per guidelines mentioned in the document. Very good. Spring security part. Okay. Kind of security part. Fine. We cannot rely on browser. Very good. Okay. Amit says post and get request from API gateway. Different people drawing different conclusions, but yeah, kind of, yes, post and get APIs, fine. API interfaces, okay. Next, we cannot rely on browser, fine. API, how the payment gateway works, payment calls and flow, okay, server to server calls. If we develop web application, we need not rely on browser, okay. Next, I understand the flow, server to server, me API call, get back to this, okay, 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 nice, nice, nice. API saves the developer's life. Yes, everything happens with API. Okay. Right now, let's say if you are software, I am software. If I'm telling you something, I'm making API calls to your mind. Understand dot something. Right? So something like this. Okay. Now, fine team. I think very nice understanding and pretty good. Now let's think about few things. Okay. Nice. I think yes, majority of the members are very bang on the whole diagram and all. I will give you all these documentations. So don't worry. In the WhatsApp group, we will be giving you all those documentations. Okay. After the session, I will just upload everything there. Fine. Chalo, thanks. Thanks. I think very good understanding for all the members. We still have 30 minutes for this call today. I want to touch, okay, one more aspect. Before we leave this topic, we have to see how we develop and all those things. A later story. पहले तो requirement समझते. Later we will bring it, break it, build it. Okay, that's later story. But थोड़ा सा let's try to understand this, guys. Whatever these two people were saying, Trustly, Stripe, they were talking about our entire system is one system. Okay, e-commerce wants to do it, you do it, blah blah blah. But we need to understand within, yes, from their perspective we are one system, but within the organization of e-commerce we are two different people. There are two separate teams working, separate people working on the actual e-commerce product, separate people working on the payment, and they are simply saying make us a deposit call. Okay, ऐसे नहीं होता है, right? They don't know our system, that is why they say make us a deposit call. Now comes the architecting knowledge within our system. Okay, how should we design our this entire? So from outer perspective, it is pretty simple. Make one API call. But who is going to make that API call is a very big game. Because your button is visible on e-commerce. E-commerce system is not going to directly talk to the Trustly or Stripe system. For that, there is this payment team. You and me, we guys are going to work in middle. And that too, we are not going to have only one monolithic big application which is doing this. We are having microservices there. So now it becomes very important to understand how our internal application design will be to achieve this external requirement. From functional perspective, it is straightforward. Call karo, browser redirect. But who is going to do that? Who will make sure that it is a valid request which should be processed further? Then who will be integrating with Trustly, Stripe? Because every integration, your deposit API call, your checkout API call, your request structure different, response structure different, notification webhooks are different. Nothing but everything is different. How do we design this middle system? That is what is the challenge in front of us. And when you go in for interview anywhere, okay, not just right now, even after experience, 4 years, 5 years onwards also, first people will try to understand how much functional knowledge you have about the system. So whatever we discussed so far, that is only functional knowledge. Then comes key, how to really design and code and build the system. And interviewer is expecting you to give that technical thing because you are being hired from technical perspective. This is where majority of the juniors, beginner level people go wrong. They only are like, okay, theory prepare karte, like, okay, theoretically now I understood, let me go for interview. Interviewer will be like, okay, all that is fine, we understood, now tell me how have you coded this. As soon as this happens, clarity is going off. So now you need to have a design knowledge, how the microservices will be, how the communication will be, and how all these things actually work. Okay? That is where फिर technically कैसे conversion आया, and then how did you develop, how did you test, how did you move it to AWS, when are you guys going to go live with this application? All those questions will come out later. Okay, but just we will end this conversation about this project with one last thing. Okay, with one last thing. Okay, this is how it is going to be. E-commerce system that we have, Okay, e-commerce system. Let me move this e-commerce system. E-commerce is having its own UI. Our project is completely back-end project. Please understand. We don't have any UI with us. E-commerce team, yes, they are having a UI. We don't have it with us. These people have a UI. So they might need Angular, React, something for building the application. For us, everything is Java code because there is no front end with us. Our front end is actually with the third party providers and our front end is with the e-commerce team. So as part of payment gateway, we are fully a API integration. We don't have any front end developers required in our project. That means there could be projects only with backend itself, and this is the nature of that kind of project. We are not developing any front end. Now, automatically, the flow is going to be something like this, guys. E-commerce website ka front end application where you show that buttons of Trustly and Stripe. This guy is going to first make API call to e-commerce backend service. So here there will be a backend service, Java or whatever service of e-commerce. These guys will actually be talking to this service, not directly to us. Second, this service is going to make the API call to payment system. And e-commerce team did not even understand how we have arranged our payment system, how many microservices, all that. We just give them one API, one endpoint, and we say you call this endpoint. Now we need to write our system. Now, if you really think logically, before processing the payment, we have to validate the payment always. Without validation, what are we going to execute? So we have to always validate the payment. Now, in order to validate the payment, we are creating one new service altogether called as payment validation service. What are these validations and all? Later story. So as part of this sprint, we are going to fully focus upon the core business logic, which is these areas. We will be developing these areas. In 3 sprints, basically, we will work for 3 sprints. Every sprint will be of 2 weeks. So totally, basically 6 weeks of work. So in 6 weeks, 3 sprints, out of these 2, we will finish one integration properly, but we will design this core system very effectively so that we can even add other integration. So we will either put Trustly or we will put Stripe, but one integration we will finish end to end. And after that, we will design it in a beautiful manner. So that we will be targeting as part of this 1.5 month that we will have later. Okay. Now, this is what is going to be our core focus area. Now, the next thing is, so payment processing service is going to be the heart of our system. Because you again need to decide, okay, the diagram is saying okay, they should notify. So in the diagram, they are saying okay, we will give a notification. But now we have to again make a decision which service at your side should process that notification. Should that be the e-commerce service? Or if it is Trustly, should it be the Trustly service? Or if it is Stripe, should it be the Stripe service? We need to understand what is the need of this processing service as a microservice. What is defined to be the work scope of processing service? Okay. And then further we speak about what is going to be the work scope of this and this. Next, we should always be thinking single point of failure. What if there is only one instance of processing service running? And understand this. Let's say, for example, all of a sudden too much traffic comes for Trustly provider. Okay, too much traffic comes on Trustly provider. That will add load on these part of the system also. And if this is very heavily loaded, we have to make sure that Stripe and other systems should also keep to execute properly. We cannot say कि यार Trustly में बहुत load आ गया and it is occupying 100% of the CPU of the system. We cannot process payments with Stripe or anybody else right now. No. If there is a problem in Trustly, only Trustly guys should suffer. Rest of the system should still work properly. What is this? A proper design thought process is required. Otherwise, entire system will collapse. Failure in one part of the system should not affect others. Likewise, single point of failure should not be there in the systems. Payment processing service should never become bottleneck for any of the integrations that we do. So how do we design a scalable system where if load comes more, we add more services of pay processing service. When the load is not there, we reduce that. We need to make all these technical decisions. And that is where comes, okay, what is the architecture of this project? And why have we designed this architecture like this? How does this architecture solves the technical challenges which might come in your project? And then once you are ready with that architecture plan, then you get into one by one coding these integrations and making it possible. Okay. Yes, it's not a small school time game or college time game. Working in real time projects needs a bit evolved thinking. It's not just about writing a class method with few variables and saying, oh, it's working. No, it is about reading documentation. It is about understanding how do we really implement that documentation, whatever they are saying, into practical code. And not just in one service, as a proper distributed architecture which can withstand load, which can be scaled properly, where there is no single point of failure, which is easy to debug, easy to extend, easy to maintain. And then how these connections will be there between e-commerce, payment to third parties. Okay, synchronous communication, asynchronous communication. Next, all of these things, when we deploy it on AWS, how will that look like? How will AWS services we will be using? So your pura ka pura understanding is required. In all of this, how will be the database design? How will be the request structure? If we are saying a request, this guy should call us, what will be the request structure of that? When we call internally, what will be the request structure of that? How will we make sure this call to this call is secured? How will we make sure this call to this call is secured? And a question, should this call to this call, validation to processing should be secured, processing to trustly should be secured? What will be our way of applying that security? Please understand. Outer perspective se to easy hai. Make one API call, we will give you URL, redirect. But internally, all these questions are there, which needs to be thought about and answered, and then accordingly you develop it. Okay. So guys, are you getting it? Are you getting it? Okay, give a quick thumbs up. I will add a quick poll, guys. I will add a quick poll here. Again, now put your understanding for today's session, okay, from let's say 2 to 5, your current understanding. Let's see. Okay, 5 is the highest. I'm putting this poll here. 5 is highest. So let's put it 5. अभी देखते कैसे चल रहा है polling. It might be yes, but at least you are getting a broader aspect of thinking. Okay, put it up, guys. Think, guys. IT may, if you really want to succeed, you need to start thinking. You need to start thinking. That's how your brain will process logic. Okay. Next, guys, I will give you an attendance link for today. Let's mark the attendance first. Okay. I will give you the attendance link. Let's mark the attendance first. After that, we will continue our topic till 12. Okay. So let's do this. Meanwhile, yes, you mark your poll here, guys. Meanwhile, I will be giving you this attendance for today. Watch the session again. Process the understanding. Read the documentation again. Okay. So 4th of March internship. Okay. And then this is our attendance. I'm pasting the link in our chat itself, and I'll give it in WhatsApp groups also. So send, copy link, guys, pasting it here. The code for today, attendance code for today is 7777, and here is the link. Okay. Chalo. Once you're done. Okay. Okay, nice. Multiple members done with the attendance. Super. Okay, guys, now let's start with a small 15 minutes overview. I will explain the problem statement today to you guys. Okay, tomorrow we will look at the solution of why version control is required. Okay, today let's discuss the problem. Okay, what is the problem? Yes, and daily 2 hours we have to do so that we can really cover all the things in depth without cutting down any of the topic. Okay, so now let's move to the second area. Ki why version control is required and how things will be different. And I'll tell you something really strange here. Okay, ki देखो version control. Let's understand the problem. First of all, when we are in college, generally we work alone. Even if you guys are doing trainings or anywhere, right? Generally we work alone, one person. That one person, let's say, even though you practice it very nicely and you write your code, okay, one person, you write your code, just a quick 15 minutes where you'll understand just the problem here, then we'll move to the next one. Okay, so now let's say you write your code. Okay, you created com dot mycom dot, let's say, payment. Inside that you wrote a.java. You might have written b.java. This is how you write your code. One person working on the code. In a.java, let's say you have written method 1, and then there is method 2, and this is how it is. No matter how much we are working, we spend time in understanding how to write code. We complete our technology trainings, we go to Udemy, we take up some courses, we build the system, we code it, we compile it, we debug it, we solve it, we deploy it in on Tomcat or somewhere, we test it, and then itself we close. Everything is working as expected. But please understand, right from day one, in project, on the same project, let's say this project is, let's say, my proj 1. I'm just naming it as my proj 1. Okay, now let's say, for example, this my proj 1 is the project there. You are alone doing everything, one man army. As soon as you get into the company, there are, let's say, team of 5 people who would work on same project. So same project, they are not going to create n number of projects. It's one project, my proj 1. So many people working upon that project, 5 people working upon that project. Now automatically, guys, and parallelly, now second thing you understand is, okay, multiple features are being developed in parallel. So it's not just one feature also. Maybe all these 5 people, they might be developing something else, 5 different features. Now what is going to happen? Please understand. Okay, let's say you coded this. Currently, there is a class called as a.java, which is having methods m1 and m2. You coded this. Now, all the 5 developers, they all want to modify this class a.java, which is having m1 and m2. They all want to add their own methods in the same class. Guys, please understand, in the production, only one class is going to go a.java, which will have the code of all the people. Now, let's say, let's not take it 5. Let's narrow it down. Let's say developer D2, okay, or D3 wants to add method 3. Okay, just an example. Developer D4 wants to add method 4, and developer D5 wants to add method 5. They all have the requirement in the same a.java. These all people should have add their own methods, and you are a developer and you have only coded, let's say, a.java, which is having 2 methods. Now comes the question, how will these people coordinate with one another, and which a.java they will be working upon? Parallelly, IT says you cannot slow down. Everybody should work as parallelly as possible, so that, because customer is saying, give me the features quickly. Multiple features are being worked upon. For each of the feature, they all need to do modification. Client is saying, finish the feature quickly, give it back to me. What will happen as an end result of this? Because of this pressure, tight timelines, what will happen is all the three developers will just take the current copy of a.java, which is having two methods, and start writing the code here. This guy. Take a second, let me just copy this thing properly here. So this guy will also take this copy. This guy will also take this copy. This guy will also take this copy. They cannot wait. Ki first this person will do and then I will do. They cannot wait for that. Right? So everybody will take the first copy of a.java and they will start modifying. This guy adds his own method, method M3. New method. Similarly, this guy adds his new method M4 and this guy adds his new method M5. Right? Now they are all adding their own methods. Now comes the question, how will we put this entire code together? One way was ki first this guy only adds M3, then this guy takes M1, M2, M3 and then adds M4 there, and then this guy takes M1, M2, M3, M4 and then adds M5. By that way, it is close coordination. But now they have all developed it independently. Now, what are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to do? How are they supposed to merge this entire code into final one a.java, which is having M1, M2, M3, M4, M5, everything without slowing down the system? That is the main problem which every project faces, and that is the need. That is where to simplify all these things. Otherwise, what is going to happen, guys? You would have to, this person will say, hey, I have written my code, I have tested my code. Now let me give my code to this guy so that M4 and M5 can be together. And then this guy will say, okay, now M3 is also ready. Let's put it together. Like manually coordination will be there, which is going to kill the system. Now, what if two people coordinated, third guy forgot to talk to them, and then you coordinated and have, let's say, M1, M2, and M4 and N5. Two of the guys coordinated, they built the system, and they said, oh, we have this, now only M3 is required. Now, what if M3 does not even know that these two people have done this activity? He simply comes and says, oh, maybe I'm the only person who completed development. He simply comes and says M1, M2, and M3. Only this is the code. And he overwrites the code of the other person. Just understand, wherever manual interactions will be there, there will be problems. There has to be tools, there has to be processes which will make sure that no developer should override other developers' code accidentally. Also, that should not happen. That is required. So how will we do that? We need some version control system for doing this. A system which takes care of ease of development like this, ease of coordination, ease of tracking, who is doing what modification. Guys, now this is really interesting. Let's say if somebody made some mistake in the code, maybe even 1 year ago. 1 year ago, some developer coded something, made a mistake. And now that code is running in production. Some problem happened in that code in later 1 year. There should be a way to identify which developer coded this feature at what time. So that kind of recording should be there. Recently in our project, this situation happened. There was one requirement which was coded around 6 years ago. Usme kuch to we found an improvement, and then we were like, okay, who coded this? And we were able to go back 6 years ago to see the name of the developer, which feature he was working and what code he added as part of that 6 years ago. All that is possible if there is a proper version control system. At least understand this. We will get into more details about version control tomorrow, but at least for today, understand this thing. We have one copy of a.java. Multiple members wants to work upon the same copy. If they don't coordinate with it properly, they will end up deleting one another's code, which is going to be a full-time waste. Full-time waste for all the people. That is where IT needs a proper way of working, and that is where in the market there are version control tools. The popular ones which is there running right now is Git. I think majority of you will already know. Git is a very popular one in the current times, and uh, Git can be done via some popular cloud repositories like GitHub, next Bitbucket, GitLab. These are some of the providers which support Git based repositories. So, but yes, we are going to use one of this provider like Bitbucket. Okay, so we are going to use Bitbucket. It's given by Atlassian company, Atlassian Jira. You already know they are popular players in the market, Atlassian and all. They have given Bitbucket, so it's really good. So what I would request you to do is, okay, in order to work with this, please install all the Windows user. There is a tool called as Source Tree. Install this tool in your machine. Okay, Source Tree download for Windows, whatever. Okay, so it will be. It's a free tool available, I think, for Windows and Mac. I think majority of you guys will be Windows and Mac. Go here. The entire code. This is how the versioning happens. Look at here. In the screenshot, we are able to see this. It clearly provides, okay, which developer is committing the code at what time. 11th Feb को क्या हुआ, 3rd March what happened, next 8th Feb, date by date, when what changes were committed by which person. All of those changes are being tracked. That's what is a version control. And source tree is a nice tool which provides a nice graphical way to look at all these things. What it is, how to do it, we will look at it later. This is how the code changes can be done. Oh, this guy earlier, now he deleted this code, he added some new code. We can do it like this. Code review can happen with this very properly. Okay, you can track the changes. Okay, which new files are being added. Well, there is a lot of capability. Tomorrow we will get into details about this capability. But for today, I will simply say sourcetreeapp.com. Okay, I'm pasting the link in this chat. Install this source tree, set it up with you. Do two things, guys. First, install the source tree and create a Bitbucket account. Create a Bitbucket account. You can create a Bitbucket account from this place, because we need to work right like that, right from day one, not like just know the topic. We should use it every single day. Okay, so maybe something like this. This is our bitbucket.org. Okay, so we need to first go ahead creating a Bitbucket account with your credentials. I think Gmail or anything you can use. It's a free setup which you can do. So create a Bitbucket. After that, install source tree. Do these two things: install and set source tree. Okay, and whatever passwords you use for Bitbucket, please remember it, because while setting up source tree, you would need to put that password back again here. Okay, so as simple as that. For today, just the tasks for you will be watch this session related documentation to read this. Okay, task for today will be read Trustly. Next, read Stripe. The more you read, more maturity will come. Okay, next guys, all the notes we will be making it available in one central place. So I will give you this link again. Already yesterday in our WhatsApp group we shared it. Entire week 1 related notes we will be putting it under this place. Okay, so this flow which is there is already available here. End-to-end payment flow. The technology stack that we will be covering in this project is already added here. Okay, we will be working upon this technology stack. Okay, next, what tools and softwares you need to install is already available here. Okay, so STS database, Mobaxterm, Postman, version control. Here we have said source tree is required. Jira account setups we will do. So you can find the information. So in this link, I will update session notes. Whatever is there in my notepad today, I will be updating it here as well. Okay. So day 1, day 2 is available. And today, day 3 material will also come here. Let me give you this link once again. Okay. So I'm pasting this link. It's a read-only link. So you can take it. You can download things from there. Copy, pasting this link in chat for you. Okay. Yeah, please take this up. But the task for today, and let's end the call with this final tasks for today. Okay, Spend some time, at least 30 minutes, read this, and then end-to-end payment flow. Get 100% understanding of that, no doubts, because functionally, if you understand, then only you can build a system. If you don't know functionally, design kya hi karoge? You cannot even design if you don't know functionally. The first step is understanding functional requirement. After that, we will do designing. So yes, task is read and understand all of this below. Strong understanding is required. Developing, that is a later step, but first strong understanding here required. That is the first thing for you guys to do. After that, okay, that's it. Just do the setup below things. Okay, that's it. Set up bitbucket, set up this, and tomorrow we will make it practical with bitbucket. Okay, chalo. Thank you everybody for your time. Okay, guys, the poll is still on. I think we are 254 members voted their understanding, and we are very good to see 57 and 30, like 87 people percentage out of all this is really getting good confidence on today's topic. Rest members, watch it again. 87 members will practice it again. The more you get it, if you practice it immediately, it will be helping more. Okay, and guys, one last tip I will give you, how you can get more value out of this internship. Okay, now guys, we are going to be here for the next 2 months. Now every single day, whatever you are learning, देखो, client details and all and project code should not be shared on social media. However, you can convert it into your own language, into your own sample small project code and snippet. Okay, and daily put one post on LinkedIn talking about, okay, now I have understanding about Stripe, I have understanding about Trustly. You can put Stripe understanding ka one blog, Trustly understanding one blog. Use this diagram we have, put it into your own words. That will start showcasing on LinkedIn that you have strong knowledge on the payment related these things. Automatically what will start happening, if referrals are coming, HRs are visiting, they already see that you are good knowledgeable in this. So one request for all you people is daily post one technical post on LinkedIn with the day-to-day understanding that we are getting. Not required to be very big, make it small to the point, but I think in a matter of next 60 days it will showcase you that you have very strong knowledge, and every day we will discuss a new topic. So don't worry about the topic part. That is my responsibility. But you convert it and write it on LinkedIn. It will open more job opportunities for you. Explain it in your own words. Use Chat GPT and summarize it nicely. It will really add value. Okay? So chalo. Thank you everybody. It was wonderful to have you. Yes, on YouTube stream. Tomorrow also we will be streaming it on YouTube. We are able to play with comments, polls. So let's stick with it for this week. From next week onwards, with the enrolled members, we will continue on Google Meet. Okay, that's how it is going to be. So thank you everybody for your time. Have a nice day and take care of yourself. Be happy and take care of yourself. Okay, so thank you all. Have a nice day everybody. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye. Bye team. Where is our Google Meet? Where is our Google Meet? Okay, so chalo, bye. Chalo, thank you everybody. Stop streaming.